Hey guys, this is Justin at the Survivor Review, and today we're going to be talking about the latest DC animated movie, Batman Assault on Arkham, which is a major step up from the last few DC animated films that have been coming out, since I really enjoyed this one. I actually had a lot of fun with it. I don't think it's great or anything, it has flaws, but it's just a really fun movie. To start out, the movie does take place in the Arkham Asylum games universe, but it's not directly tied to those stories. You can watch this movie having no knowledge of those games whatsoever and still enjoy it for what it is. It doesn't rely heavily on your knowledge of the games, which is really nice. And it's just, if you're a fan of the games, it's awesome because you get to see all those designs, even though it's not the same animation style, it's, it's 2D animation instead of the CGI. It's still cool to see the designs of the characters in that universe. Even at the end, you see Bane and Poison Ivy and Commissioner Gordon, who look the way they do in the games, and that's really cool. One other thing that's really interesting about this movie that really makes it different from other animated films like this is that it doesn't focus on Batman. Batman's name is on the title just to sell the DVDs, basically. The movie mostly focuses on the Suicide Squad, which is led by Deadshot and Harley Quinn and has a few other villains in there. And they're a group of criminals who are sent by the secret government agency into Arkham Asylum to get this flash drive or something from the Riddler. And the movie focuses on them, and occasionally Batman pops in. You really see the character of Batman from the villain's perspective. They're just there and then Batman shows up. And that was really cool. It's a really different way to tell the story without focusing on Batman doing his stuff. Just focus on the Suicide Squad. And I thought that was a really, really cool change of pace for this movie and really helped differentiate from other movies. The voice cast in this movie is very good. They got Kevin Conroy back to play Batman, it's Kevin Conroy. For those of you who don't know, he did Batman in the animated series and even in the Justice League animated show, and has done him in some of the DC animated movies and in the Arkham games. And he is Batman. His voice is great, so it's awesome to have him back as in the role. The rest of the cast is really good, but the one person that steals the show, can't think of his name, but the actor playing the Joker. Because this actor also played Joker in Arkham Origins, and he does a spot-on Mark Hamill impression, and you feel like it's Mark Hamill doing the voice of Joker in these scenes, and it's great, and he had the funniest bits. In fact, whenever the Joker was on screen, he stole the show. He was just the most fun character. He had a lot of great lines. The comedy, there's a lot of comedy in this movie, and it can be hit or miss at times. Some of it was kind of but whenever the Joker told a joke, it was funny. And I thought he was the best part of this movie. And so I thought that was great. The action scenes are all really good. I like the opening when Batman is arresting the Riddler and he's fighting off all these guys. And just the fluidity of the animation and the style of the fighting was really cool. And I really enjoyed that. The animation is pretty good too. Even though it has those moments that I find in other DC animated movies where you feel like they should cut a bit earlier at the end of a shot. So it almost feels like it goes to a freeze frame, the characters go and they kind of freeze for a few seconds. You feel like they should have cut a bit earlier, so it doesn't feel as awkward, if that makes any sense. There's a few of those moments in this movie, and that kind of annoys me a bit, but for the most part, the animation's solid and really good. This movie, a lot happens in this movie. This movie is only an hour and 15 minutes, but it feels longer than that because a lot goes down. And I really like the middle portion of this movie when it turns into a heist film, and the Suicide Squad is trying to break into Arkham, and they're having disguises and stuff like that, and that was really cool. This movie's, the way lately the DC animated films have been pushing the PG-13, they've been actually pretty violent and having language and stuff like that, and this one does the same, but it also surprisingly pushes it when it comes to sex and nudity. There's no full-on nudity, but there's a lot of Harley Quinn is nude and you see from the back of her, and they're strategically covering her up, and it's whoa, you're actually pushing the boundaries of a PG-13, and that was a little unexpected. Even the violence pushed it a little bit. The characters, the way they make the Suicide Squad do this job for them, the way the government agency makes them do it, is that they have these bombs planted in the back of their necks that they could detonate at any time. Kind of like in Escape from New York with Snake Plissken, and he has the bomb inside of him. Yeah, basically like that. And so you see the heads explode at some times. And that happens, it's kind of surprising. It's whoa, okay, that was unexpected. But yeah, besides that, the movie is not great. As much as I liked that middle part, there were some kind of slow bits, and the characters, like since you're just being introduced to them in this movie, you're not as invested in them because they're just these brand new characters you just saw, and you're like, oh okay, and you're still trying to get used to them as the movie goes along. So that was a little iffy, but overall, I just thought it was like a fun movie. Nothing spectacular, nothing that you have to go out and rent right now and watch. But if you're a Batman fan and also a fan of this universe, of the Arkham universe, I definitely recommend checking this movie out. It's a lot of fun. I know I liked it better than the last few movies, Justice League War and Son of Batman, which I found were, especially Son of Batman, were very forgettable. And it's kind of like you watch it once, you're like, oh, okay, that killed 70 minutes. Like, I have those movies because I got the Steelbook editions of them, but I don't really plan on watching those again. And for Assault on Arkham, where I'm not going to immediately rewatch it, but I know I can see myself throwing it on again in the future. It was just a fun film. So out of 10, I'd give it just a solid 8 for what it is. Nothing special, not one of the best DC animated movies, and not one of the worst, but definitely a change of pace, a really original story, and the fact that it focuses on the villains, and Batman is a side character who pops in every once in a while, which is really cool. So that's a really interesting aspect, and just overall, just an enjoyable movie. So yeah, that's about it, and until next time, I will talk to you guys later.